Hello everyone, welcome to our Xbox One console kind of review of the press conference, everything that was announced. Going over who's here, I am Stender slash Dark Kingdom Key. Along with us we have...
I'm Josh. I'm also known as the Shady Friar, but you can call me Jeffrey.
Steven, whatever. I'm not even going to use my username here because I'm not that pretentious.
Yeah, this is a pretentious PC gamer.
Yeah.
And behind us we have...
No one!
apparently... if you hear a little Mexican boy talk, he's Jose.
He's a tiny little Mexican
Tiny
boy.
little Mexican boy.
He shines our shoes.
Latin fire.
Latin Fire, there you are. Alright,
Fiery Latin.
just to start things off, I'll go over a little bit of what happened during the press conference. Within the first 5 minutes, console was shown. Big shocker, big diss to all the PS3 press conference. Then they went in to go about what the new features of the Xbox One is going to have, such as streaming TV and movies through the Xbox. There's a big... They had a big chunk of the time dedicated to sports and sports games. They announced a Halo TV series done by Steven Spielberg, I believe it was. And they also showed quite a bit of Call of Duty Ghosts, which is coming out later this year and will be on Xbox One, with exclusive content going to the Xbox One. We're going to go over the specs of the Xbox One, which I believe Steve has.
Alright, for starting off with the RAM, it has 8 gigabytes of DDR3 at 2133 megahertz. That is pretty fast because the standard in most PCs is 1600, even though you can go higher if you want to, but it costs money. It uses an AMD 8-core, 8-thread APU actually. So APU means it's a graphics card and a processor in one, if I recall correctly. You could correct me. I'm not a smart man when it comes to AMD and APUs. I need to know more, I admit it. It has a 500 gigabyte hard disk drive. I don't know the RPM. That is a thing. That can change things. It has Blu-ray, so you can watch all your fancy Blu-ray movies on that without having to get a secondary device. So that is nice. Supports 4K resolution. So, dandy. HDMI, standardizing things. Awesome. No backwards compatibility. I'm just reading the specs off of this thing. Games, it can switch between games, movies, Skype while playing instead of cross-game chat.
Always wanted that.
Skype, that's a big thing.
Want to talk to my German girlfriend while I look.
I think we can gloss over that later. Connect stuff. Xbox Smart Glass, I don't actually know what that is. I wish
No
I
one
did.
does. No one cares.
For mobile interaction, more stuff, and more game stuff, and more stuff. Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff.
Well, it's later talking points stuff off of this list.
Alright, so moving on from that, we have physical aspects of the console. First one we have here is non-removable hard drive.
That's huge. It really is.
So you can't replace it with a hard drive of a larger hard drive. It's the one you're stuck with. The one you buy is the one you're stuck
Do we
with.
know how many USB inputs are on the machine at this point?
On the Xbox 360, I think.
There's 2.
There's 2, but what about Xbox One? I don't
See,
believe-
there's going to be at least that. But
Well, actually, I remember something. It's USB 3.0, which good for you. That's good stuff. That's advancement.
There's another problem that comes in later with not having the removable hard drive. Might as well just talk about it now. Is that all the games have to be installed?
Right.
If it wasn't for that, this really wouldn't be a problem because it's going to come with 500 gigabytes, which if they're not installed is plenty.
Yo.
But my question is, why not offer a 1 terabyte model at a more expensive? Just a little
Make
more.
them later.
Why not on release date?
Again, it's a ways away.
You always have to have a spot where you can move up. Like PS3 and Xbox, they started at a 60 gigabyte model, but now they've moved up
I don't think you can even buy one that low anymore.
You can't. No,
Well, you
they're,
can get that
they're no longer made.
You can get the 3 gigabyte ones, but those are just Netflix
Yeah.
machines.
But yeah, like they need a starting point, and they will move higher and higher as time moves
They
on.
have to.
Like
It's,
It's required.
It's required.
and I'm also sure they're going to keep using the cloud, so transferring it to a new Xbox isn't going to be that big of a deal.
Shouldn't.
It's still inconvenient, but you
Well,
shouldn't.
the thing is, the cloud, that's cool and all, but I feel as if once the new model comes out, you should be able to put in a bigger hard drive instead of having to buy a
Yeah.
whole
Right.
new Xbox, because, you know, your new Xbox, your early adoption stuff, you're not going to get much money out of it.
Right. See, with the installing of games and such, you know, people like you're gonna get less and less hard drive space the more games you do buy. But then I guess they're thinking of the option of, okay, you bought a game 2 years ago that you still have in your thing and you're low on memory space. Just uninstall. But even that is a huge pain to go through. To just, okay, I'm out of memory space, let me uninstall this list of games that I know I never play anymore. So it's kind of, and even if you want to go back one day and play it, you have to reinstall.
Yeah,
so it's just a huge headache.
And I'm one of those people who, like, well, it's not that big a deal, just do it. But even that is, you shouldn't have to do it by this time. Like, it's maybe like years ago when with the Xbox 360 when that first came, probably be acceptable actually.
Yo,
But now at this point, it's like it needs to be convenient.
yeah,
Actually, something to note on, it is Blu-ray.
it is Blu-ray.
Blu-ray holds a lot.
Yeah.
So that's even less space that you would have on your.
Yeah, unless the people designing and programming these games are just geniuses at finding space, it's gonna it will fill up fast with 500 for anyone who plays more than just Call of Duty and Madden.
Yeah,
which, regardless of what the gaming industry tells you, is more than 5 people.
Right.
Well, can I say something?
Yeah.
Battlefield 3 for me as a PC gamer, the base game is 11 gigabytes. All the DLC is another 9. So I have a 20 gigabyte game on my hard drive.
Right.
That's a lot.
That's actually a good point. Considering how much DLC is just being circulated now, that's even less space.
Yeah.
For that 500, because so you take pretty much every game with multiplayer that's remotely successful is going to have map packs
Yep.
at this point. Now it's just
Call of Duty. Oh.
Even Gears of War Judgment, and that game's dead now, is probably going to have map packs coming out.
Yo.
In Call of Duty, they're probably going to go up to just having a map pack every week or something.
They could. Just release one map every week. I wouldn't surprise me if they
Actually,
went.
side note, that'd be kind of cool.
It
like
would,
a $1 map a week.
but just imagine if you had to download something every week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always connected, so.
What if they allow you to play and download at the same time without doing some magic trick like you have to do with the PS3?
If you have the bandwidth for it,
Good.
that would be
they
go for it,
believe-
I think.
I have the bandwidth for it, so I want it tapped.
Have they announced downloading? Like you buy a game, you start downloading it, and it can play while it's downloading. Have they? Did they
Actually,
announce that?
Wait, just before we continue, we are talking as of April 23rd.
May 23rd.
May 20th.
Congratulations, you are predicting the future now.
I am official.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
With Steam, as a PC gamer, there are games, AAA titles, that allow you to preload the game.
Right.
So
That is the greatest service ever, by the way. Can I just mention
about
that?
3 days in advance, they allow you to download the game. You can't play it. About the day of release. There's usually it is kind of slow at the time because it's a midnight release. I mean, the servers are busy. There's about 1 megabyte of files that activate the whole 11 gigs you just downloaded.
It's essentially your driver, isn't it? For the game?
It's just what uses it, and then they hand you the activation code, and you're set. You don't have to wait you have to plan your downloads ahead of time, but you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially, long story short, it is one of the greatest services ever.
Yes.
And it's amazing.
Now-
And when the Steam Box comes out, which we're not talking about
No,
now, we're not. That's going to probably be on it, which is awesome. Just mention that.
Let's see.
If that is a thing for the Xbox One,
Great.
power to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Moving on. It is going to come with Kinect. Xbox One will come with Kinect. but it also requires it to function.
Or to be attached. They said something about settings, being able to turn parts of it off.
Right. But the main
But-
thing is that it needs to be connected to the Xbox.
you
Which
have
I
to
don't see.
have
It
the-
seems like why?
Well, because like, I suppose with the whole you can control your Xbox through Kinect by voice, but just with voice. Xbox on, Xbox play game, Xbox go home. Greatest joke of the entire press conference.
Xbox go home. You're drunk. Okay.
But it's just, I don't know, it just seems kind of, I don't know, kind of a pain just to always, you need to have that. It's like one more thing, like if you're bringing your console to little Jimmy's house,
Yeah.
like, that's one more thing that you need to
I
have
didn't
with
even
you.
think about it when I bring my Xbox here every once in a while. That's gonna be
That's a pain.
Where are we gonna put it? Should I just like hook it up and just lay it in the corner?
Okay, does it need to be useful? Like, can you put the Kinect?
I don't think so.
Can you put the Kinect in a closet?
Can I
where
like
you have-
break it or can I like duct tape it?
See, like, how useful is it going to be?
Maybe I could just
outside
like
of just
duct tape
hardcore
it to the
gaming?
top of the console.
I mean, if I yell, "Where's Harvey Dent?" will it find Harvey Dent for me?
Well, no, you have to punch a clown.
See,
for-
and this also sucks for kid gamers or kid gamers with moms, because if you're playing games and you have homework to do or dinner's ready, all a mom has to do, Xbox off. Xbox turns off.
yeah, terrible making kids do homework.
It's terrible. Honestly, kids would be pissed.
They're already pissed.
Yeah, they're angry and hormonal.
That's why they play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else with Kinect that we can really? It's such a bang.
we did.
There-
It's
there's-
always on, and there's stuff about it, recording audio. All,
Do
stuff
not
like that.
fool around the Kinect because you don't know.
It's
what it
always
records.
watching. It's HAL 5000.
I can't do that for you, Dave.
All they have to do is write something within their clauses and fine print that no one reads except for lawyers.
Yeah.
That they could just make that the worst thing in the world.
See, my fear is that gaming developers will actually use Kinect with their games. So, like, okay, just playing a game, playing a game with a controller. All right, now wave your hand in front of the Kinect so that you can do the next part. And they're just like, eh. Like, I'm afraid game developers will start using Kinect in their.
I'm more worried about them making you use voice because that's going to come out soon, and even though I'm going to college, especially actually in college, it would
That's gonna be really.
someone might be sleeping behind me. And I don't want to have to be like, "Yo, Xbox, could you stop this? Could you let me go to the next spot, please?"
It can be like the Phoenix Wright games, where every time you want to yell objection, you have to yell objection into the DS. So like you're playing on a train, it's just like objection. Sorry, everyone. But yeah,
I wonder if there's been ever like just we're gonna have an unscheduled stop. Someone is having a heart attack. Objection. Overruled.
all right, onto a big part of it. None of the hardware specs, like there's nothing in the Xbox One that will make it backwards compatible. Let's see. I think we can talk about this a little later on, but just saying that Xbox One will not be backwards compatible. And I think we
Period. I really don't. There's like, did they give anything? Well, oh wait, never mind. They did, and that's what we'll talk about later. But next point.
Let's see, because we did games that need to be installed too. So used games.
Alright.
Oh, Steve-O has. Okay, well, first off,
They're
there's nothing official yet.
They are beating around the bush. Well, reviewers are beating around the bush, and occasionally a berry falls out, and it's a very nasty berry.
Very dirty. It's like a dingleberry.
It's a dirty berry.
It's like one of those berries birds always eat at, and you're like, oh, those must be good, and you try one, it's like, oh, why did I do that?
Whatever. Well, Steve-O just forgot how to drink.
It all happens to everyone, except
Okay.
for us. So yeah, go ahead with your.
So Steve-O is
He's choking.
Steve-O's aware of some rumors concerning it, and just keep in mind these are rumors. This is not the part where like this is something. Once Steve-O's done dying.
Breathe. Okay, we good? We're up. 1, 0.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is just Reddit. I read it a lot, and this just our games. Just there's multiple posts, and they're neither confirmed nor denied of how the used games are going to work. Well, first of all, you have to install it. You install it on yours, and it's activated on yours. It's yours. For now, we don't know. Say you take, how you've always taken your Xbox 360 game over to your friend's house instead of lugging your Xbox 360 to your friend's house. Because that's how that works.
Logic.
It's lighter and less of a time waster. Now you might actually have to lug your Xbox One over to your friend's house if you don't want to have to go through pain and suffering. If you take your disc to a friend's house and you're required to install it on the Xbox One, it may deactivate your install. It may require the second install at your friend's house to pay a fee to play. We don't know how much the fee is. Is it $1, $5, $20? Where that money goes. Microsoft? Devs? Space? No clue.
Space noodles.
Ramen.
All hail. I for one love our new ramen overlords.
Let's see. Or it might not even work on a second Xbox One. That's another thing. The disc might actually be technically...
I do feel like that's the least likely though, because now this, I believe it was an interview on GameSpot that the person they were interviewing mentioned. They asked about used games, and they said they're not killed. They don't want to end the market, which that would, if it just doesn't work, that's right. The end. Just there's no question about it. But they don't want to end it when there's stuff in the works, but he can't talk about how. So I feel like that's the least likely option, but it's still
here. If you're gonna have DRM, here's how I, with least impact, would like to see it. You have to install it, yes, but your case comes with a code that is worth X amount of dollars, and you can buy extra codes from the devs. So the money goes to them.
Yeah.
And that code allows you to download like the 1 megabyte to activate the whole install, so you can install it multiple. You just gotta buy the code.
Right.
And each code you buy, you'd be able to get, like, say 3 codes at once, put it on 3 Xboxes, then you're good to go.
Yeah. But you only have to buy the disc once for the mass amount of information. I think people will be relatively okay with that.
That would be good. See, the one thing used game, like, having the restriction on 1 game per console is gaming, gaming communities that have tournaments. So, like, for instance, the fighting game community. Now, you have multiple games, and multiple setups, but most people are just bringing their own home copy to the tournament that the tournament can use, but then the one disc isn't going to go on the same console every time. And they're not using your home console to do this. The tournament organizers have their own consoles that they use. So we're talking about an install time for each disc. If you get discs mixed up, you got to reinstall it and pay a fee.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a lot of uncertainty about the fighting game community about what's going to happen with this next gen.
And along with that, in the fighting game community, when you have these tournaments, and I'm sure it's with other tournaments too, but this is what me and Andy are familiar with. Mm-hmm. They don't buy a copy of the game for every single console they have. Now, say they have a game that's really popular, then yeah, but they're not going to have... Say they have 20 Xboxes, they're not going to have 20 copies of Persona 4 Arena, a game which is not currently being played regularly. And that's extremely hard, because you're going to have to keep that to the same one, or deal with moving that around. And at that point, they're just not going to deal with it. They don't have the time or the resources to these people... Because these aren't, like, professional event organizers that do this. These are people who are putting a lot of their own money and their own time into it, and they don't have the resources to deal with that. So
it'll just be too hard.
Another point is, there are homes with multiple Xboxes. This is the thing.
There are.
Now, a AAA title comes out, everyone in the family wants it, but if you only buy 1 copy, only one Xbox can hypothetically have it at a time. You don't want to buy 3 copies of the same game because that, at a $60 price point, is $180 for one game for the entire house. Which, then, at that time, you start playing musical Xboxes in each other's rooms.
Don't want to get the discs mixed up and everything. It'll just be...
Just duct tape it to the side of the console. You just have your console covered in game case.
Just write your name in big letters. This is mine.